For most of human history, money was something you held. A coin, a note, a card, then your phone. Each step felt like progress, but the trajectory has been consistent. The object you needed to pay with kept getting smaller, smarter, and closer to your body. Now, it's about to disappear entirely, because the object that's replacing all of those is you. This isn't speculation. It's happening this month across multiple continents in technology you can install today. Samsung joins Apple and Google on digital passports in May 2026. Samsung announced a partnership with the identity verification company Clear. The new feature, called Samsung ID with Clear, is a digital ID built from information in your US passport and verified by Clear. And it lets travelers verify their identity at over 250 TSA checkpoints using just their phones. Anyone with a compatible Galaxy phone, a US passport, and a few minutes to set it up can now walk through airport security without producing a physical passport. The information is verified by Clear, and the digital ID can be used at more than 250 TSA airport checkpoints. The same digital ID also works at certain sports venues, including BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, where you can use your face to prove your age. No card, no ID book, just your phone and your face. Now, notice the framing of the story. Apple Wallet and Google Wallet have offered similar functionality for years. Samsung is not leading this. Samsung is catching up. This is the part that should make every Christian sit up. When one tech company tries something experimental, you can dismiss it as a fringe pilot. When two tech giants offer something similar, you can argue it's still a niche. But when the three largest mobile platforms in the world, Apple, Google, and Samsung, are all moving toward the same destination, that destination has stopped being optional. It's become the standard. The destination is this: your passport, your identity, and your access, all stored inside the device you carry every day and unlocked by your face. But if digital passports are step one, South Korea is already running step two. The fintech app called Toss launched something called FacePay in April 2024. The way it works is simple. You register your face once in the Toss app. Then you walk into a convenience store, look at a terminal at the checkpoint, and your purchase is paid. Toss claims its system verifies faces within 1 second with 99.99% accuracy. The growth has been steep. After a pilot in March, FacePay has expanded to 20,000 merchants across Seoul within 2 months. By August, subscriber numbers had passed 400,000, with around 60% of users returning to use the service again within a month. Now, look at the stated targets. Toss aims to deploy FacePay at 300,000 stores nationwide by the end of the year and 1 million locations by the end of 2026. The plan is to broaden it beyond convenience stores into cafes, gas stations, movie theaters, and beyond. Now, think about what that actually means on the ground. By the end of next year, in one country, ordinary people could walk into a coffee shop, a hospital, a cinema, a petrol station, or a grocery store and pay with their face. No card, no phone, no PIN, just being there and being you. This isn't a research project. It's an operational infrastructure on national scale with explicit growth targets. Step back from any one country and the pattern is consistent. In Europe, the EU is rolling out a digital identity wallet for all its citizens by the end of 2026. In India, the national Aadhaar system is now processing over 2 billion authentications every month. In Singapore, the national digital ID has around 5 million active users. Even traditional banking is moving this direction. JP Morgan, the largest US bank, has been quietly running pay by face and pay by palm pilots at Formula One events, restaurants, and grocery stores. And industry analysts project biometric payments will reach trillions of dollars and serve billions of users by the end of this decade. Your identity, your access, your ability to move, to buy, to participate in society is being encoded, centralized, and digitized right now in 2026. Revelation 13, verse 16 to 17 says, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." The Apostle John wrote those words around 95 AD, and there are 4 capabilities embedded in that single passage that no government in human history had ever possessed in full until very recently. Notice them carefully. The first capability is universal reach. The text says all, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. Every economic class, every social status, one system, one requirement. For 1900 years of church history, that level of coverage was technologically impossible. It would require global infrastructure, interoperability across nations, and seamless verification across continents. The pieces of that infrastructure are now being built and connected in real time. The second capability is biometric identity. The mark is placed on the hand or the forehead, not carried in a pocket, not memorized, on the body. Modern theologians have noted that this is a dark mirror of Revelation 7, verse 3, where God's own seal is placed on the foreheads of his servants. The beast system is producing a counterfeit. While God marks his people with his name, the beast marks his people with his.
This is the book, excuse me, this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11. And it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." First and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahavashai, Bahashem, Raka'ak, Radash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath and Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So this video is from the channel called Grace for Purpose. And this right here says, many will take the charagma. The pressure will be too great. Yeah, it will be too great for those who don't have the truth, who don't have the faith. Because people are going to crack under the pressure. Okay? Now what he said in Revelation chapter 7. Okay? Now it says here, Revelation 7 and 3. It says, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start at verse 1. Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. Salakia. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth. Okay, the angels are holding back that destruction. That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. In verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. And it says here, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So, from the tribe of Judah, all the way down to the tribe of Issachar, were sealed 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes, right? Okay? Now, dropping down to verse 9, Revelation 7 and 9 says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Alright? So that great multitude is talking about the rest of the elect, the 1/3, the multitude of men, women, and children who are the families and the friends of the prophets. Okay? Now, going over this video, how they're talking about how this whole thing with, currency and all these other countries, they're moving on to that, with this digital age, right? Cryptocurrency, basically moving further and further away from the physical dollar itself. Okay, like you said, your debit or credit card, your phone, and now facial recognition. But these are all part of the wickedest devices, man. Okay, at some point, at some point, when the dollar collapses, that's it. And they'll bring in the new system, okay? And it will be made mandatory that without that digital grain of rice, you're not going to be able to do anything in society. You'll be ostracized. You won't be able to live in the society, okay? So, going into verse 16, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Actually, I'm going to start verse 15. Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay? So, again, it's, they're moving with their agenda. They're moving closer and closer and closer to their ultimate plan, which is to to put that digital grain of rice in your hand, in your forehead, or wherever. It doesn't matter. If you take it, you pretty much chose. Excuse me. You pretty much chose who you serve. Okay? So, without it, it's going to come down to the wire. What are you going to do when, without this C-HIP, what are you going to do when you can't make rent? Or make a mortgage payment, or electricity bill, or internet, or whatever? Eventually, it's going to come down to the point where at that moment, everything of value to you of this world, or not, it's not really of any value to us, but the things that you have, at that point it's like it means nothing. It never did, because we're gonna be, if we're of the elect, Lord willing that we are, we leaving this shit behind anyway. The TVs, the video games, the bikes, the whatever. This pretty much, our life here in Babylon is over. It's time to move. Time to get, time to walk towards something greater. And that's where it says in 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. So, let's see. 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras 16 and 67. It says, "Behold, the Most High Himself is the judge. Fear Him. Leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the power lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble." Verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with the things offered unto idols. Okay? This, persecution is right at the door. Okay, it's, and some of us are gonna have to, we're gonna have to, bite the bullet on that one. And verse 69 says, "And they consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot." So if you cave in and you give in to these devil's demands, or if you give in to their NWO and you take the you know what, you shall be had in derision and you shall be ashamed, ultimately judged. Okay? In verse 70 it says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." So an insurrection, man, which means that they've seen our faces on social media, they've seen us out there on the highways and byways, they know who we are, they've seen our faces, they got our information. Verse 71, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." So get ready. Get ready. Okay? And the thing with America and the American and the Israeli military coming together, that right there is a sign, because that gives those Israelis access to all, surveillance. That gives them access to all recordings. That gives them access to everything and that's going on here in America. There is never such thing as privacy here. Our phones record us. Our smart TVs. Everything. They'll have everything on your name, your address, where you work, your friends and family members and folk and all that. And it says, in verse 72, it says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." Verse 73, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." Okay? So, when the time comes, man, if it's your lot to be a martyr, and those soldiers kick in your door with the barrels of those guns, pointed directly at your face, be not afraid, because you know that this was spoken of. This is that time. This is the time that was spoken of. They're gonna come for us. So you know what what time it is. You know what the deal is. So put on your game face and get ready. So, let's see. So I'll get this barrel through the opponents. And also, this also goes into, let me get first. Yeah, it's in Thessalonians. Slovakia. Okay. All right, so 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition," speaking of Esau, Edom. Verse 4, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped so that he, as the power, sitteth in the temple of the power, showing himself that he is God. Okay? And this whole technocracy, okay, that is part of Esau Edom's so-called ascension to godhood, because he wants to have complete access to every day of your life, from the moment that you are born and to the moment that you pass away. So technocracy, a system of governance where decision makers are chosen based on their technical, scientific, or professional expertise rather than through political elections. In a pure technocracy, leaders rely on data, evidence, and instrumental rationality to manage society and resources efficiently, often replacing traditional democratic processes. Core principles: expertise-led rule. Power rests with scientists, engineers, economists, and technical specialists. Data-driven policy. Decisions prioritize empirical evidence, measurements, and scientific methods over public opinion or political ideology. Efficiency focus. Systems are organized to maximize productivity, resource management, and operational performance. Okay? So, AI is Esau Edom's, part of his technocracy is his biggest weapon that he's going to use against everybody, but at the same token, same time, AI is going to turn on him. Okay, when it comes to history and evolution, the 1930s movement, which was the formal movement, peaked during the Great Depression in the United States, led by figures like Howard Scott, who argued that industrial complexity rendered traditional politicians obsolete. Modern applications: while complete technocratic states are rare, partial technocracy is common when governments appoint unelected specialists to run central banks, public health agencies, or regulatory boards during crises. Okay, so, this is going to be a state where it's going to ignore human values. So pure data-driven logic can struggle to account for subjective public values, ethics, and moral preferences. So, yeah, man, like this digitized system that it's already set up. They just got to put it in. They just got to execute it and put it into play. But if you become, like I said before, becoming a part of this system, it's only going to lead to one thing, and that's destruction. Okay, going to Revelation 14. Let's see. Revelation 14. Yep, Revelation 14 and 9. It says, "And a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand," verse 10, then the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay? So, again, verse 11, "And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive his charagma or his name." Verse 12, "Here is the patience of the saints." Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. Okay. And it says here, verse 13, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. Okay? Lord willing, that is talking about us, that we are of that number. Okay? So, hopefully in that day that, that we are of the chosen. Okay? And now I'm going back into verse 1, Revelation 14:1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads, the elect men. Verse 2, and I heard the voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers, harping with their harps. So, a very powerful, commanding, and masculine voice. In verse 3, and they sung as if it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders, and no man could learn the song, but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Okay? In verse 4, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the power and to the Lamb. So, when it says here, being not defiled with women, okay, it's not in a literal sense of women. It's talking about, it's talking about like philosophy. Their minds weren't poisoned or swayed, or they didn't allow themselves to be influenced by the doctrines or the philosophies of this world. That's what that's talking about, because women represent, because women not only, of course, represent women, but they also represent philosophy, doctrine, strong drink. Okay, you can always, so that clears that up. So they kept, so the elect, those are the ones that kept themselves from falling back into the world from which the Lord spiritually woke them up out of.
And right now, today, the hand and face are exactly where the modern payment industry is putting its verification systems. The third capability is commercial control, not one may buy or sell. Commerce itself, the ability to feed your family, pay your rent, run your business, becomes conditional, gated, dependent on whether you comply with the system. This isn't just an ID, it is economic leverage at the scale of an entire civilization. The fourth capability is the one most secular analysts miss entirely. The system is not only about identification. Revelation makes it clear in chapters 14 and 20 that those who accept the mark are simultaneously declaring worship of the beast. It's an allegiance marker, an oath, an economic transaction with a spiritual signature. The system in Revelation 13 is a surveillance, identification, and compliance framework with a spiritual ultimatum built into it. So this is the point where it's important to slow down. I'm not telling you that Samsung is the Antichrist, and I'm not telling you that Toss Face Pay is the mark of the beast. I'm not telling you that your iPhone or your Galaxy phone is part of a satanic conspiracy. The technology itself is not the sin. What I'm telling you is this: you cannot build Revelation 13 overnight. You cannot wake up one morning and suddenly require 8 billion people to scan their faces to buy bread. Because a system that scale needs infrastructure, it needs habitation, It needs consent, given gradually, willingly, even enthusiastically, before it can ever be enforced coercively. What we are watching right now is the infrastructure phase. Look at how it actually works in practice. First comes convenience. You introduce biometrics as a gift. No more passwords, no more carrying ID, just your face. It is faster, it is seamless, it feels like freedom. South Korea's face pay rollout works because looking at a terminal for 1 second is genuinely easier than fishing for your phone or wallet out of your bag. Samsung Wallet at the airport works because you no longer have to dig through your carry-on for passport at security. The user experience is real. The benefits are immediate. Then comes normalization. A generation grows up never knowing anything else. TOS's growth pattern is being driven by millennials and Gen Z. Samsung itself notes that younger users who grew up with facial recognition will adopt these systems faster than their parents will. The goal is for biometric identity to feel as ordinary as typing a PIN, as ordinary as signing your name, as ordinary as breathing. Then comes integration. Your face isn't just one thing anymore. It's for payments, then for airport security, then for your national ID, then for your medical records, your government benefits, your tax filings, your travel documents. Every layer of civic life gets bound to the same biometric identifier, slowly, logically, conveniently. JP Morgan's own analysts have publicly described digital IDs as becoming to global e-commerce that passports are to international travel. That's the integration target. Then comes dependency. At some point, and this is the hinge of the whole thing, you realize you can't really participate in normal life without it. You can't board a plane. You can't open a bank account. You can't collect a paycheck. You can't buy groceries. The system has become the water you swim in. Opting out means opting out of society itself. And finally, enforcement. When the infrastructure is universal, when the dependency is total, when the habits are decades deep, then a governing authority can quietly add a condition. Not scan your face to pay, but scan your face, confirm your loyalty, then pay. The technology doesn't change. Only the condition for using it changes. That is Revelation 13. The point of this isn't to scare you. The point is to prepare you. Jesus said in Matthew 24 that these things had to come. Prophecy isn't given to the church to terrorize her. It's given to ground her. You're not watching the world fall apart. You're watching the faithfulness of God's word being confirmed in real time. So, how should a Christian live in light of this? First, anchor your dependence on God, not the system. Philippians 4:19 says, "My God shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory." That promise was written to a church that was already being economically squeezed for its faith. It was relevant then. It'll be relevant again. Second, take community seriously. The early church survived Roman economic pressure through radical mutual care. Acts 2 verse 44 says that they had all things in common. When the system locks you out, the local church is meant to be your economy. That assumes you are actually plugged into one. Third, get rooted in Scripture. The reason a lot of believers will be unprepared for end times deception isn't a lack of information, it's a lack of depth. We have traded biblical maturity for entertainment, and it's going to cost some people everything. Know your Bible, know your prophecy, know the voice of the
biblical maturity for entertainment. So, biblical maturity for entertainment. I mean, yeah, they replaced biblical maturity for entertainment, so scripture that comes to mind is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2. It says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." So people replace biblical maturity with entertainment. And when you go to the word night in this particular precept, it goes into Greek nux. And it's a metaphor of the time when work ceases, the time of death, the time for deeds of sin and shame, the time of moral stupidity and darkness, the time when the weary and also the drunken give themselves up to slumber. So in a time of moral stupidity, when people say that they're living their best life, they're being all that they can be, partying, having a good time, ignorance is bliss, right? And it's going to hit them. It's going to hit them hard. Reality is going to set in and it's going to be sudden, which means it's going to be when you least expect it. And so I'm not going to play any more of this. You get the idea, but you can watch the rest of this on your own time. The channel is called Grace for Purpose, and it says that many will take the charagma, the pressure will be too great. So, Lord willing that this was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayatha Dawada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.